Off on the mission, you know how it goes. Off in the system, they turn up their nose. They took all the soil, but they didn't know. Through the concrete, you see the roads. Eyes ain't
surrendering and letting it all flow with the violet ray.
The questioner says, could I make the analogy of, in this apparent death, of losing the desires that are the illusory, common desires of third density and gaining desires of total service to others? I'm Ra. You are perceptive. This was the purpose this was the purpose and the intent of the chamber, as well as forming a necessity portion of the king's chamber position effectiveness.
Already talking about the pyramids, I see. Already talking about the pyramids, I see. You know, there's one thing in the universe that is inevitable, they say. And that is change.
Complex of the healer by the outstretched hand used in a polarized sense. However, this energy circulates through the various points of energy to the base of the spine and to the certain extent the feet, thus coming through the main energy center of the healer, spiraling through the feet, turning at the red energy center towards a spiral at the yellow energy center.
And then Rob mentioned the third energy center, if you're coming up from the root, which is the solar plexus, which is the yellow center. And the solar plexus is where we use our willpower. It's where we take action. And it is where we have courage and self-esteem and confidence to use our vital energy. So it's pretty fascinating stuff. And then the chakras also are not physical, but they're a part of the etheric body. If you guys look here, I'll zoom in a little bit for you guys. The amethyst. Amethyst is one of them. And there's a variety of different styles of amethyst out there. This is a chevron amethyst, which has the white.
Take a breath in. However long you want to hold it, hold it. And when you release, what are you surrendering? You are called here today. It wasn't a trick. It wasn't by accident. You were called here today. If you're tuning in right now, it's because the divine said, he needs to know, she needs to know that I've given you so many infinite possibilities of finding out about who you are from within. And then you get to take a breath, mull around in it, and then surrender that which no longer serves you for your highest and greatest good of who you are and who you are going to be or who you are becoming. And Ross says, I give you the cheat codes. Feel free to take them. Mull them over. Have a discernment about them. And then take action. Because the universe and all the energy that is in it is always moving. Even if you take no action, that's energy moving. What are you going to decide for you today? Ross says they've already done it. They are a collective 6 density being. They've already done it for you. So to let you know, you can do it too. You don't have to wait for the next person next to you to do it. You don't have to wait for any collective to get on the same page with you. You can do it. And that's why we are reading Ra's information. That's why we're allowing that channeling to come through us. Ra channeled it through once, and now Ra is channeling again. And you get to take it how you receive it. And that does not work for your highest and greatest good, you get to leave it in the room. So we're here at what episode, Marcus?
Summer of 69.
Ah, yes. The 69th episode. Who thunk? Who would have thought? Did you think? Third book. We got 2 more to go. Are you ready? I'm ready. Over to you, Marcus.
Wow. First of all, to our audience out there, can we please get a round of applause for Sandy's intro into this space? And please get a round of applause. Yeah. That being said, may we allow ourselves to carry this momentum, this present moment of feeling and connection that we feel inside of our hearts in this very moment. The spark that has continued to grow throughout these episodes. And may we just allow clarity and trust in the present to be able to flow and continue to be more present within our being. And I really want to give thanks to each and every one of you for continuing to support and to show up and be a part of these beautiful live spaces. And with that, Unea Ishiana Una Ese Munaya Bea Ute Mayakuna Yati Yatuta Eshi Mayakuda Yana Pia Mayakuna Yati Nayasutuanata.
Yes, sono toko o tai. Tai no se no. Deus la miki ki no chodo ku le miki ki no ku la imte. Ne tu ta a de e. Deus shala ta te e. Ere ta. Ashia no toko o te. Shano toku o. Kuundate. Eshe sholoto Woof. Are we ready? I'm ready.
Well, whatever was.
Yes, I'm ready,
Wow.
ready to learn. Yes, I'm ready, ready to learn. So bring Ra here. The tune is a little off, but you get my drift. You get the rhythm, right? So we're going to start with the questioner. The questioner says, I have observed many activities known as psychic surgery in the area of the Philippine Islands. It was my assumption that these healers are providing what I would call a training aid or a way of creating a reconfiguration of the mind of the patient to be healed as the relatively naive patient observes the action of the healer in seeing the materialized blood, etc., and reconfigures the roots of the mind to believe, you might say, the healing is done, and therefore heals himself. Is this an analysis that I may have made correct? I am Ra. This is correct. We may speak slightly further on the type of opportunity. There are times when the malcondition may be altered, is without emotional or mental or spiritual interest to the entity, and is merely that which has, take the comma, perhaps by chance genetic arrangement, take the comma again, occurred, period. In these cases, that which is apparently dematerialized will remain dematerialized and may be observed as so by the observer. The malcondition, which has an emotional, mental, or spiritual charge, is likely to remain dematerialized in the sense of the showing of the objective reference of the observer. However, take a comma, if the opportunity has been taken by the seeker, the apparent malcondition of the physical complex will be at variance with the actual health. As you call this distortion of the seeker and of the lack of experiencing the distortion, which the objective reference would suggest still held sway. Now, Ra's going to give a for instance. For instance, in this instrument, the removal of 3 small cysts was the removal of material having no interest in the entity. Thus, these growths remain dematerialized after the so-called psychic surgery experience. In other physical surgeries, the kidneys of the instrument were carefully offered a new configuration of beingness, which the entity embraced. However, take the comma, the particular portion of the mind-body-spirit complex carried a great deal of emotional, mental, and spiritual charge due to this distorted functioning being the cause of great illness in certain configurations of events, which accumulated in the entity's conscious decision to be of service. Therefore, any object scanning this entity's renal complex would indicate that the rather extreme dysfunctional aspect of which is shown previous to the psychic surgery experience, as you call it. Ra says, furthermore, the key is not in the continuation of the dematerialization of distortion to the eye of the beholder, but rather lies in the choosing of the newly materialized configuration which exists in space, in time/space. All right. That question was powerful, but the answer was more powerful. It's kind of like having those pills that they give you. They can give you a pill that actually does something, and then they give you a pill that doesn't do anything at all. But because you have the power within you to believe that you're healing, that you're going to be healed because of this pill that has I think it's called a sugar pill or whatever it's called, that you and you heal yourself and you think the pill did it, right? Because you had enough faith or energy put into that pill and said, oh, I'm healed. And the doctor is going, well, what just happened? I gave her a pill that doesn't do anything but have sugar or water or sugar in it or whatever the pill is. It's about how you feel about your distortion, the things that are going on in your body. Over to you, Marcus. Woof.
I mean, wow. Right out the bat, like the first sentence, we're talking about psychic surgery already. Man, my goodness. Oof. We're diving in today. What a good late night.
What a good late night.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love this because, I get a lot of friends, a lot of community, and others that I come across that, they're curious about these topics. They hear about psychic surgery, they hear about Reiki and different things like that. I myself, I'm definitely aware of them. I practice these practices myself on a daily basis with folks, and it's just really fascinating to see the interpretation of it from Ra being channeled through this book. And this book is what? The 80s, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the 80s. So
Yes.
it really shows too, like, the timelessness of these practices and the information and how it has been around for centuries, ancient times, all the way up till now. And we have, kind of like when you get into the law of one, we have these different placeholders and the different dimensions that kind of hold this knowledge and keep it alive through the eternities. And that's kind of where Ra comes in. As we've talked about before, and I mentioned before in my Grand Rising with Christolight series, we learned that Ra isn't just an entity. It's not just one being. It's not just a sun, but Ra is also relating to basically a whole entire octave of the creator source that emanates and carries forward the knowledge of the balance and the wholeness of life. And man, it's really fascinating. And one thing I would notice a lot too in these episodes is the correlations, the things I might be learning in my life outside of these spaces, and then I hear it basically being translated in a different way in these episodes. It's it's really amazing, gotta say. But a little bit about psychic surgery from my perspective and my experiences is basically, we're these energetic beings, and as electromagnetic beings, we have an auric field, and you can also call this your toroidal field as well. And through it, it has magnetism. Our magnetism is basically what allows us to attach, absorb, and come into contact with basically other beings or other forms of information. And as we go through this journey in this free will incarnation, our auric field, you know, it absorbs things and it observes and it goes through experiences. You can also call it the ego if you want. And as we go through it, you know, we either, I mean, there's so many different scenarios that take place, of course, but just some of the basic examples is, you know, we can either absorb the energy and the information, and then we could hold on to it. And when we attach to it and hold on to it, it can then turn into density. Then that density can become basically like karmic energy. And then we have to work through that and clear that out so that we can raise our frequency again. So there's many other ways, of course, that happen. And it's all based off of our free will and our authenticity as well through this journey. But as we go through these experiences, what can happen with our energy field is that we can develop attachments. We can develop cords that can bring, I'll say, distorting energy into our field. Along with that, you know, we could carry traumas, we could carry PTSD and other things of that nature. And basically what psychic surgery is the act or the art of going into the energy field and removing the implants or the parts of the energy field that are carrying the blueprints or carrying the coding for these things that are attached into your field. So everything that we see in this physical world, our illnesses, our ailments, things of that nature, and you guys can read it in many books. There's many different people that put it in their books through their stories, is that the illness or the ailment or the attachment, whatever it may be that we're going through in the struggle of the human life, there is some type of energetic coding or energetic blueprint that is imprinted, that is allowing that to become a manifested experience. So with that being said, with psychic surgery, we go into the energy field, we kind of rearrange our energy grid and our coding system and what we have going on in our programming in the energy field. So that's why they call it psychic surgery, because it's basically like physical surgery, but instead of it being physical, it's going into your energy body and clearing out the energy body. So it's quote unquote psychic, because the psychic field is our energy body field, or the Akashic field as well.
Yes. And as also Raw was saying that the first 3 cysts that they pulled from her had no, because she had no emotion attached to them. They dematerialized. But there was something going on, I believe, in her liver, or I think it's her kidneys, that she had emotion about this, it became dysfunction in her body, because she had emotion. Yes, it was her kidneys. In other psychic surgery, the kidneys of this instrument were carefully offered a new configuration of beingness, which the entity embraced. However, the particular portion of the mind-body complex carried a great deal of emotional, mental, and spiritual charge due to this distorted functioning, being the cause of great illness in a certain configuration of events, which accumulated the entity's conscious decision to be of service. Right? She had emotion about this discomfort and this distortion, and it opened up questions to her within her, not only about healing, but about being of service. Sometimes when we go through things in our body, before we tend to try to fix them, or before we tend to try to judge them or discern them, we can take a moment and say, what is this situation trying to show me? Okay, because it's written in the DNA. We're going to experience this. It's in our not just our emotional body, but our psychic body. Everything that's coming into play with our health and our wealth and our well-being, and how we handle money and how we don't handle money, and the whole thing. This has already been pre-written. It doesn't mean that it's written in stone, but you get to ask an embodying question. Okay, I just went to the doctor. They found a calcification. And before you take it to the extreme of, oh my God, I'm going to die, you can ask an embodying question. Why is the story happening now? Why is the story of me finding a calcification happening now? Why is it the story of me having to do whatever I have to do now, in either jumping to a conclusion or having a discernment about it? Right? It happened so that her emotions about this distortion brought her to the event of making a decision to be of service. So, okay. So now we're going to go to the next question. The questioner says, would you explain that last comment about the configuration in time/space? Time/space. I am raw. Healing is done in time/space portion of the mind, body, spirit complex. It is adopted by the form making or the etheric body, Marcus just said that, and is then given to the space/time physical illusion for use in the active or activated yellow mind, body, spirit complex. It is the adoption of the configuration which you call health by the etheric body in time/space, which is the key to what you call health, not any event which occurs in space/time. In the process, you may see the trans-dimensional space of what you call will. For it is the will, the seeking, the desire of the entity which causes the indigo body to use the novel configurations and to reform the body which exists in space/time. This is done in an instant and may be said to operate without regard to time. We may note that in the healing of very young children, take the comma, let's take the pause, there is often a apparent healing by the healer in which the young entity has no part. This is never so. For the mind, body, spirit complex in time/place, space, is always capable of willing the distortion to it chooses for experience, no matter what the apparent age, as you call it, of the entity. Basically, we think, all children, they shouldn't have to go through this, and they're just a child, and woe to the child because they're going through the distortion or whatnot. They are in a child's body, but the higher being is using their etheric body and the essence to feel distortion to have a free will choice to do something different. If you ask a child, would you rather feel better than sick? They would, most of them, more than most of them would say yes. Everything has a free will. Everything is going through some type of distortion, and the distortion is for learning, growing, shifting, and expanding. The problem is that we, the human side of us, put a lot of emotion in the different distortions, and we can get lost in it. Over to you, Marcus.
I mean, I don't know if it's the evening night vibe or something, but Raw is coming through very extra raw tonight, I have to say. I mean, wow. Welcome in, Lunar Queen. Lunar Queen's been a topic lately around her book. Her book's been coming up a bunch. Lunar Queen's got a book, everybody.
Lunar Queen's got a
Pretty good
book.
one.
All right. As soon as I'm getting the for my book, I've got to do the cover and some sketch art, and then hey, I'm introducing it to Amazon. So in the making.
Oh, I can't wait.
In the making. She says she loves
y'all got
clap.
books going on.
You broke up there. Say that again.
I got an anime. There's something I'd like to kind of bring up and relate when it comes to this topic that we've been on with, the placebo effect and the embodiments that we can have through our mental processing. And, this has been something very deep within my own consciousness of exploration as myself. And I've not really had the ways to put it into words or to be able to hear somebody else explain what it is that I experience inside my mind at times. And it is now being explained by Ra in this episode. So, I've always had this thing within my mind that we kind of have like these multiple choice points that happen during an experience. And it's really like every single moment. And these multiple choice points, so to say, are just like probabilities of timelines that you can vibrate yourself into and embody. And what I've noticed is that the way that we tell ourselves where we are, who we are, what we're experiencing, what the experience is doing to us, factors in to the way that we are going to assimilate the reality that we continue forward with. And it's been very deep, even in the times where I'm facing pain, times where I'm facing anger, times where I'm facing joy, times where I'm facing uncertainty because I don't know if my dad's going to make it because the medical system is failing him and I have to step in. Last year, as a raw human being, we go through these different types of emotions and these different types of experiences. But what I notice is, although we go through these experiences, although we go through, oh man, I don't know if my dad will make it. I don't know if this Reiki will be the answer to be able to help him. I don't know if the medical system will be able to show up and be able to provide. Despite having all these circumstances and despite having all of these probabilities that could take place, what I noticed was that although all these things could happen or they are happening in the outer world, there's still a free will choice within us. Even in the most chaotic times, we still have some type of sliver within us inside of our mental and emotional field where we have a self-examination of ourselves and what it is that we want to do and what we are going to do with this free will being that we have. And when Ra was really channeling these answers to the questionnaire, it was really triggering this process that I was having that I'm explaining now. And I've always been curious of how to describe it. And it gets really deep because, all it takes is the slightest influence or the slightest programming to then alter our thought process, to start to shift the chemistry of the way we are using our mentalism. Even when something happens, a mistake happens, or pain takes place, where are we focusing our mentalism? Are we focusing on just the worst scenarios? Or are we focusing on, hey, I'm going through this, but I know I'm going to make it through this. And I'm connected to the eternal flow. Now, what can I do to make the most of this moment? What is this that I can take from it? And sometimes it's stepping into that conscious mind within ourselves. Because sometimes we get triggered into, the subconscious or the unconscious parts of ourselves. And sometimes that unconscious part of ourselves just needs a little tap on the shoulder from the conscious self within. Hey, higher self here. We're in this together. Remember, we're on a journey. We're okay. Step back into me a little bit. Take a breath. And we will make it through this moment. And while we're in this moment, let's see what we can take from it. Because we won't have this moment again. And when I started to really dial into that and starting to become more slowed down with the way I was using my mental processing, I started really seeing that, we really do have free will here. And although we don't go through all of the things that we may want to happen, there's still golden opportunities within every moment to continue to live life, to make change, and to have free will. And that right there is the golden ticket right there.
Exactly. I had stepped away, guys, because I have this glare that's coming in. But I'm going to say that there's no way, when I was working with my blinds and I'm going, how come it won't change? And then I just thought, surrender. It's meant to be there. There's a reason why the divine has this shine over my left eye, whatever. Right? We're going to just go with the flow.
Left eye in the building.
Left eye in the building, right? Okay. So what Marcus was saying is free will is, I think, okay, I'm going to ask that the divine words are my words and my words are the divine words. Free will is the whole reason why we're in this dimension. We are expressions of the divine seeking itself in free will action. In free will action, it's seeking itself to be. And the only way that it can be is for us to have, even if we have a reaction, it's a type of beingness. It may not be the exact thing that we want to be, reacting in a negative manner. But guys, Ra wants you to know that we are supposed to traverse the positive polarity and the negative polarity, and we're supposed to feel it, see it, be it. This is why we have all these layers of us, from inward all the way outward. Every layer of us is the divine seeking itself in the feeling of, the being of, the seeing of, whether you're seeing it with your physical eyes or your third eye. It's shifting, growth, and evolution. It's not just one thing or the other. For some people, they will never do holistic medicine. They will always, move towards the trend of regular medicine. But guess what? If they're putting all their energy and their free will into that medicine, and they're going to be healed, they're going to be healed. They are. They're putting all that energy in there. They don't even know that they're alchemizing that medicine to heal their body, to be healed, no matter for how long it lasts. It's not our job to tell them that it's only going to last a little while, or when you take it and you get better in one area, you might get worse. What makes us think that it's our job to tell them that when they're using their free will to heal themselves that way? There's no wrong way or right way. There's just a doing. There's just a being. There are some people that don't want to do modern medicine, and they do it holistically. Guess what? They put all their free will and their energy, intention plus energy equals manifestation. Your intention to utilize your holistic medicine and heal your body gives you the manifestation of healing and well-being. It's your free will choice. We're here for free will choice. And if there are those that want to utilize both, which is me, because I wanted to learn how to be an alchemist. This is what Ra is talking about, being an alchemist. Taking what's given to you and then changing it. Yeshua did that when he changed water into wine. You're settled and you believe that, but oh no, it couldn't be me that does that. Why not? That's what Ra is saying. Why not? Why can't you change water into wine? Have you sat and tried to really do it? Have you sat and tried to levitate something? But this is what the divine through Ra is talking about. It's the gift of the channeler or the person that's allowing the channeling to happen. She had 3 cysts that she didn't have any emotion about. And cyclically, they were removed, and the distortion was taken away. But the emotion that she had about something else, she held on to it a little bit longer. But she held on to it, and it moved her to ask a question. It moved her to service. How can I, through my healing, how can I serve? That's all Ra is saying. Ra isn't saying there's a right and a wrong. Ra isn't saying that you get to argue. We're not arguing what the right way of healing is or the wrong way of healing is. What we're saying is your free will determines how you heal. That's all Ra is saying. You decide what's inside, what feelings and emotions you have. Some people hear the doctor say cancer and they turn off everything else. All they turn on to is, I'm going to die. And if they stay with that, guess what the body says? Your wish is my command. Let it be so. That's all Ra is saying. What emotion do you have behind it? What are your feelings, or what are your thoughts? What's moving? Everything is moving. Everything is in energetic form. It's waiting to transform for you. Energy is saying, give me a command, Sandy. And Sandy says, okay, we're going to do surgery. So I want the best surgical team possible. Intention plus energy equals the manifestation of, I'm going to tell you, my care team, my surgical team, that the doctor was spot on. The surgeon said, I tightened it up for you. I got everything out. You got, looked at it and said, the way your skin is, Sandy, there's not going to be a scar. And everyone, from the time I went in, and everyone that kept checking, when they, of course, they had to check, they kept saying, where's the scar? You sure you had surgery? These are the same doctors and care team. But energy plus, the intention. My intention is to live. This is what I told my doctors. I know what I want to do. Are you sure that's what you want to do? Let's do this. Did I do the radiation treatments? Yes, I did. I did it before. I know what to expect. And now I know how to alchemize it. Do you know it was a learning process that blew my mind? Every time I was under that machine, and it was only for 33 minutes, I alchemized that energy. I told that energy where it was going to go, what it was going to do, and only the story of my healing them for my highest good was it going to operate. Anything else had to leave and go back to the no thing that it came from. So if anybody else had a story to that energy from that machine, it was not mine. That's alchemization. Do I have it down to a perfection? Not yet. But I'm getting there. That's all Ra is saying. Your emotion, your thoughts, your words, your deeds about you can either heal you or it can kill you. You decide. That's all Ra is saying. Sometimes you don't even have to go to a surgeon. Sometimes the doctor can say, oh, you have a couple of little stones starting to show up in your kidneys. And you can mentally and physically and emotionally go into those and remove them yourself. Yeshua raised Lazarus from the dead, but Yeshua couldn't raise Lazarus unless Lazarus wanted to come back. Free will. If Lazarus wanted to tell Yeshua, I'm done. I ain't coming back. Thank you for the offer. Yeshua would have just let it go. Even though Lazarus was Yeshua's greatest friend. free will. That's all Ra is saying. Very, very powerful energy, creative or destructive, right? So what time do we have? We have 15 more minutes. I'm going to read one more. Okay. Questioner says, is this desire and will that operates through to the time-space section a function only of the entity who is healed, or is it also the function of the healer? Comma, take the pause. The crystallized healer. I am Ra. May we take this opportunity to say that this is the activity of the Creator. The specificality, answer your query. That's unique that he used that word there. The crystallized healer has no will. It offers an opportunity without attachment. It offers opportunity without attachment to the outcome. For it is aware that all is one and that the Creator is knowing thyself. So when you're talking about the crystallized healer, you're talking about the divine, the Creator. The Creator isn't attached to an outcome. It's going to be whatever you want. What do you want? You can go to a Reiki healer and he or she can utilize their gifts. But if you aren't ready to be healed and to receive it, they're going to give you the energy. You're going to take it in and it's going to bounce back to the divine, because you're not putting forth your free will to take it in and receive it. You're letting somebody else do the work for you. And then when it does not work, you blame them. When you're trying to get rid of entities that you believe are bombarding you and keeping you from money or this or that or whatnot, and you go to someone to get rid of these entities, if you don't believe and hold space for yourself that you are going to take in the energy that they're sharing with you and utilize it to surrender those entities and tell them to leave and never come back, go back to the no thing, they're going to stay around because they're going to give you a little laugh. You haven't embodied yourself. You haven't embodied your energy. I'm not going anywhere. The energy is doing exactly what you want it to do. If you're not holding space for yourself and for entities to leave you alone, then they will not leave you alone. They will still be there in one vibration or one moment, in one fashion or another. I don't know why the divine wanted me to use that particular example. But people hold space for you. And if you aren't holding that space for you as well, for your healing, it's not going to happen. But it's not the healers, the Reiki healers' fault. If you want to use the word fault. You have to know thyself. The Creator knows itself. And it's knowing more of itself through you, through me, through Marcus. Welcome, Lula. Do we have time for one more question?
Yeah, if you do.
All right. I'm just feeling the divine. So I'm gonna read one more question. I'm feeling the divine. It just came over me. Whoosh. All right. So the questioner says, then the desire must be strong in the mind, body, spirit complex who seeks healing to be healed in order for the healing to occur. Is this correct? This is correct on one level or another. An entity may not consciously seek healing and yet subconsciously be aware of the need to experience the new set of distortions which result from healing. Similarly, an entity may consciously desire healing greatly, but within the being, at some level, find some cause whereby certain configurations which seem quite distorted are, take the comma, in fact, take another comma, at that level considered appropriate. Just what was said before, right? Other people can't heal you unless you want to be healed. Know thyself. Why is there, if you've been to every doctor and then you decide I want to go to a healer because I'm not getting anything from physical doctors or whatnot, and you go to a healer and then you're not getting it from the healer either, the common denominator is you. I'm letting a pause there. It's you. Know thyself. Why are you in a vibration of feeling like you're being the victim? If you're in victim mode, you're not gonna feel that maybe you don't feel that you deserve to be healed. Or maybe you're in the mode, why me? That's victim mode. Well, if you're in why me, then of course you're not going to heal, because you think the universe or the world or whatnot, spiritual or religious, is picking on you. How in that vibrational mode, how can you heal? Because you're sending that energy out into the universe, and the universe is saying, your wish is my command. I'm mirroring you. I'm giving you back exactly what you want. That's all Ra is saying. And then while you're in this place, are you asking, instead of why me, why now? What's life trying to show me? How come this is coming up now? Then you have a whole new set of answers that the universe is going to allow to open up in front of you. Oh, if modern medicine isn't doing it for me, and I hear a friend telling me about Reiki or about a shamanic healing or different things, how do I need to prepare for that? You start asking embodying questions. Is it all about the healer? What I need to ask some questions. Maybe I need to talk to these healers before they start working on me to find out what's required of myself. That's all Ra is saying. After I finished with the medical side, I told my doctors what I was going to do after I did the radiation treatments my way, using their machine, alchemizing it my way. I told them I was going to be taking soursop. They said, "Oh, that sounds good." I told them I was going to be taking some noni juice as well. I told them that I was going to be doing beet powder, beetroot powder, and noni, making my noni juice with noni powder. I mean, I had to do the due diligence. Why? Because I fucking want to live. I want to give my body what it needs. The powder and the noni juice and all that other stuff, I still had to speak to it. I still had to alchemize it and tell it what I expect it to do when it enters my body. That's alchemization. It's not some voodoo hoodoo, thing that you can't do, that you have to be some spiritual high ranking person. You were born with that power. But if you don't have it, right? If you don't have it right now, I'm not saying stop. I'm not telling you not to stop seeing your doctor or don't take your medicine. Don't go do that. Raw is just saying you got it in you to heal yourself. You got it in you to do the psychic surgery. You got it in you to decide what medicines to take or what holistic things to take. Don't go saying Soul Awakening says, I don't need to take this medicine anymore. I can heal myself. And then you not have the power behind you to do it. And when I mean, go know thyself. Like Marcus is always saying, you got to go in and know yourself. If you're not up to par with yourself yet, don't stop taking your medicine. If you got high blood pressure and you're taking that and you don't have the power behind it to stop taking your medicine and start taking some beetroot powder, you better, I'll give you a suggestion, take both. Take both until your blood pressure goes down all the way and your doctor says, oh, you're doing really good. Then, oh, I'm doing really good. That means that I don't need to take the Limpril anymore. And your doctor will go, no, you don't. You're doing really good. All right, then you stop taking the Limpril and you keep taking your beetroot powder because you're doing really good. I say that because that's what I'm doing right now. I'm not letting my doctor know that I'm taking both. It's not his business. Unless something, happens to me, maybe my blood pressure gets a little bit too low. Right? But the first thing is my I'll decide which one I need more for my highest and greatest good. You're a powerful creator of your body. That's all Raw wants you to know. That's why these questioners are asking these questions. This was 1980. We're at 2025, baby. These questions have been asked for let's just use the word eons. Why not? One day, I guarantee you, I will get to the point where I will be more holistic than modern medicine. That is my intention, and that is my spiritual goal. That is me, not you. You decide you. Thank you very much for being part of Ascending Beyond Limitations. And that's where we're going to, whoa, powerful. Over to you, Marcus.
So funny. As soon as you started saying that stuff at the end, I was like, I forgot we were on an episode of Ascended Beyond Limitations. Wow. I thought we were like literally just in the cosmic therapy room. Just it felt so wow. I just don't have a word for it. Thank you for sharing all that with us. That was a great vulnerability and very connective on a real human level of just what the contrast of life can be like, and people don't really always get that perspective by seeing us talk on a screen and talk on a podcast and things of that nature. But that's the stuff right there where the real hidden gems are, is in those real raw experiences that we go through of life and death and shadows and light and all the other stuff that we weave through these dimensions. And yeah, just really thank you for sharing that and letting us all get some insight into what it's like to be Sandy and type of things that she goes through within different vibrational consciousness of her being. So thank you. And I'm really grateful that you've obtained the wisdom that you have in the ways that you have, and you're still sharing these moments with us today.
Thank you so much. It's what I'm called to do. I just like you get to ask when that happened this time around. I just had to ask. I didn't even have to say, why me? I just said, why now? And the divine said, well, you wanted to help people move from, move from medical being, not understanding how to shift from modern medicine or how to incorporate modern medicine and holistic medicine into their life so that they can live long enough to utilize one way or both ways for their highest and greatest good. And I said, yes, I did. Well, how can you do that unless you actually physically, actually do it? How can you tell somebody how to alchemize if you haven't really done it full on? And I went, oh, okay. Am I perfect at it? No, I'm not perfect at it. No such thing as perfection. It's just about allowing myself to be more energetic and it's surrender. That's what it is. Allowing myself to surrender.
Yeah.
Just like you surrendered when you injured your back, correct?
Oh yeah. Yep. When I fractured that rib, man.
Yeah.
That's a big key too. With the alchemization process, I'm going to say is the word for it. Is acceptance. Acceptance or surrendering, whichever way you'd like to word it. For me, acceptance is one of the biggest things that I have really, I guess, like reprogrammed myself into, is acceptance of the moment. Like, this is happening in this moment. I accept it. Now, after that acceptance, it's kind of like, okay, now our consciousness is looking for what's next. So we've accepted that this is in this moment. Now let's open up the possibilities of how we can change it. And ever since I kind of unlocked that mentality within myself mentally, it's like I've been on an unstoppable train of just manifestation. I'm creating all these retreats and all these different things are happening every day, basically. And it's that power of the mind, that acceptance, not attaching and not having a destination mindset about the experiences that we're going through, and realizing that, again, just like we talked about earlier in this episode, within all that's happening in the world and the chaos and the experiences, we still have a sovereign individual being that has free will, and we get to do something with the energy that we experience in each moment. And as a good old Yoda says, it's you do or you do not. There is no in between. There is no try. You do or you don't. And
Exactly.
it's always good to know that even if you do, and even if you don't, you have the next moment to do or don't again.
Exactly. And in the do and the don't, energy is always moving. It's always moving. So, and it's always shifting. That's the whole thing about, I think, what Ra wants us to understand is there's space time, and then you can turn it around. You can be in your space being manipulated, possibly by time, how time flows around you. And then there can be a flip of being in time, because we're so much as that physical us, we're in time, but there's so much space that's around us while we're focused on time, right? And all Ra is saying, decide, be, the divine is trying to give me, be fervent. I don't know why he wants me to use that word, but I think be strong in what decisions you make, which ones you're using. If you intend on spending so much time in time, then find out why you're there. Ask yourself an embodying question about how come you're in this time vortex. What did you answer? Be patient for the answers, and then find out how it works while the space is moving around you. What does it mean? How long do I have to be here? Or how long do I intend to be here? So we've got time, space, and space, time. We've got love, the duality, opposites, and we get to decide how long we're going to be in either. It's no decision but ours. Free will. The divine said, I'm along for the ride. You're here because I want to experience. You're the body that I chose, Sandy. You're the body that I chose to be in. Now give me a ride. Right? I made the choice of getting married, thought I was going to live happily ever after, lived happily ever after for 3 years, and then got divorced. And I said to myself, well, if I chose that, I wouldn't have never chose being unhappy like that and going through all of what I went. But yeah, I chose it because the experience led me to a new experience, a new time, space, a new space, time. I would never have chosen to have a stage 1 cancer, or 20 something odd years ago have stage 0 cancer. I wouldn't have never chose that. But yeah, my higher being did. They sat down at the round table and they said, we're going to experience this, and this, and this. And this is the body that I'm going to use. So when it's time, the other higher beings that are supposed to be there in that moment that I'm going to experience that, make sure you're on time and make sure you're there. And the higher being said, all right, here we are. So thank you once again. Ascending Beyond Limitations, Book 3, Law of One. See you same raw time, same raw channel. I don't know if we're going to do it at 5 o'clock again, but let me know if you like this time. Let me know. And it's a different feel than 1 o'clock in the afternoon or 10 in the morning. So let me know.
Yeah, let us know for sure, because I don't know, I kind of miss the nighttime vibes. I haven't done a nighttime live in a while, and a lot more people are off work too at that time too. So
yes.
Just let us know how you guys feel about it. If you guys like the evening, nighttime, or if you kind of like that rising early afternoon time. It can always fluctuate as well.
Yeah. Anyway, so thank you so much. Thank you, Lunar Queen 21, Lulabella 280. Thank you, Star. What is that? Star Lacrux. How does that? It's French, isn't it?
Yeah, we say Lacroix, but who knows what it really is.
Okay, I'll just call her Star. Nature Wolf, thank you for joining. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you guys all. And to close out, I'm gonna have a nice 4-minute video about the placebo effect. It's actually a TED talk. So it's just a 4-minute video. If you guys want to stick around, it'll close out and be the ending for this episode. And it's a 4.5-minute video about the placebo effect, which we talked about in this episode. So Sandy, have a blessed and beautiful night. And everybody else, wholeness and balance love.
Wholeness and balance love. Peace.
In 1996, 56 volunteers took part in a study to test a new painkiller called Trivaricane. On each subject, one index finger was covered in the new painkiller, while the other remained untouched. Then, both were squeezed in painful clamps. The subjects reported that the treated finger hurt less than the untreated one. This shouldn't be surprising, except Trivaricane wasn't actually a painkiller, just a fake concoction with no pain-easing properties at all. What made the students so sure this dummy drug had worked? The answer lies in the placebo effect, an unexplained phenomenon wherein drugs, treatments, and therapies that aren't supposed to have an effect and are often fake miraculously make people feel better. Doctors have used the term placebo since the 1700s, when they realized the power of fake drugs to improve people's symptoms. These were administered when proper drugs weren't available, or if someone imagined they were ill. In fact, the word placebo means "I shall please" in Latin, hinting at a history of placating troubled patients. Placebos had to mimic the real treatments in order to be convincing, so they took the form of sugar pills, water-filled injections, and even sham surgeries. Soon, doctors realized that duping people in this way had another use: in clinical trials. By the 1950s, researchers were using placebos as a standard tool to test new treatments. To evaluate a new drug, for instance, half the patients in a trial might receive the real pill. The other half would get a placebo that looked the same. Since patients wouldn't know whether they'd received the real thing or a dud, the results wouldn't be biased, researchers believed. Then, if the new drug showed a significant benefit compared to the placebo, it was proved effective. Nowadays, it's less common to use placebos this way because of ethical concerns. If it's possible to compare a new drug against an older version or another existing drug, that's preferable to simply giving someone no treatment at all, especially if they have a serious ailment. In these cases, placebos are often used as a control to fine-tune the trial, so that the effects of the new versus the old or alternative drug can be precisely compared. But of course, we know that placebos exert their own influence too. Thanks to the placebo effect, patients have experienced relief from a range of ailments, including heart problems, asthma, and severe pain, even though all they'd received was a fake drug or sham surgery. We're still trying to understand how. Some believe that instead of being real, the placebo effect is merely confused with other factors, like patients trying to please doctors by falsely reporting improvements. On the other hand, researchers think that if a person believes a fake treatment is real, their expectations of recovery actually do trigger physiological factors that improve their symptoms. Placebos seem to be capable of causing measurable change in blood pressure, heart rate, and the release of pain-reducing chemicals like endorphins. That explains why subjects in pain studies often say placebos ease their discomfort. Placebos may even reduce levels of stress hormones like adrenaline, which can slow the harmful effects of an ailment. So shouldn't we celebrate the placebo's bizarre benefits? Not necessarily. If somebody believes a fake treatment has cured them, they may miss out on drugs or therapies that are proven to work. Plus, the positive effects may fade over time, and often do. Placebos also cloud clinical results, making scientists even more motivated to discover how they wield such power over us. Despite everything we know about the human body, there are still some strange and enduring mysteries, like the placebo effect. So what other undiscovered marvels might we contain? It's easy to investigate the world around us and forget that one of its most fascinating subjects lies right behind our eyes.